especially in those early phases, because what you're doing is you're figuring out what works, one, but then what consistently works. The problem with is a lot of business owners, we jump so many different lanes that we don't ever either A, give ourselves enough time to get good at one lane, or what happens is we don't optimize. Like a lot of people, they start making money in one lane, then they say, okay, cool, what's next? What you mean what's next? This is next.
He came through in that live and he was commenting. He had joined into the live too.
Yeah.
And after that, fast forward, Ayo sent me a screenshot. I'm like, yo, this is on the stage. I'm like, I don't know who that is. He's like, no, bro, you remember that time we did a live with Darius? I'm like, I remember, but I just don't remember who that was.
Yeah.
Fast forward, he's making over $100,000.
He's different. He's a different type of executor. He's one of the people that's actually easy to coach. Podcasts, in my opinion, in 2025 are a must, right? Because people got platforms with specific audiences. Even if y'all were to charge $10,000, right, it will be worth it, because you got to think, if you got a product that's $7,500, $10,000, one person you convert, you made your bread back, the rest is all profit. So you got to understand, but most people don't understand how to maximize the play of a podcast, right?
You're probably like the first person I see actually go out to meet up with their VAs. Like, I never see anybody going out to do that, bro. So to see you took that long flight and you know you actually went up to meet up with people who are helping you make money.
Right. So I tell people, listen, you're gonna have excuses or you can have results, but you can never have both. So for me, I just stopped making excuses and said, man, I'm going all in on this thing.
All right, guys. So before we jump into the episode, just want to make a big announcement. We just launched the Motion and Success community, guys. So in this community, we're going to be giving you the game on content. Basically, how to grow your profile from 0 to 100K in under a year, as well as how to make money online, getting leads for your business, more customers, more money.
Also, for the Motion and Success podcast, one of the things that I realized, we're attracting a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, and people that are just starting up their business and they're looking to start growing their business and scaling. One of the key factors to growing a business is by borrowing capital. So now, when you're going out to certain banks, there's certain things that you need to do to be able to get funding for your business, to be able to start, grow, and scale what you got going on and take things to the moon. So if you're looking to go out and start growing and scaling your business like a lot of our guests has been doing, I'm going to teach you how to go out and get access to capital, access to credit cards, lines of credit, loans, things of that nature, so that way you can start growing your business. Sometimes you might just need an extra 50,000. Sometimes it might be 100,000. But listen, check us out inside the community. Go ahead and click the link down below and book a call with us. And I'm going to see you guys inside the community. Enjoy the rest of the episode. All right, y'all. So welcome back to another episode of Motion and Success. Listen, guys, my name is Cody Brown, and I also got my co-host with me.
It's Ayo, and bro, another great episode is about to take place. We got a repeat guest. I know last time he came up here, yo, he flamed it, bro.
Word, bro.
Viral. Like, still got people hitting us up to this day. Like, yo,
facts.
They still want access to the information. So we got a really special guest pulling up all the way from Atlanta,
Georgia.
Got Darius Benders here.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all having me.
Absolutely, bro.
Last time we did have a couple of viral clips. I ain't gonna lie.
Word.
Motion and Success got the sauce. Yeah, got the sauce.
Right, bro.
Nah,
everything has been good,
bro. I seen the transformation, bro. From I think we interviewed you probably back
December,
in like November, December.
October, November, around that. Last year.
From that point, I think my guy got a lamb now.
Word.
Killing it in the culture space, creating millionaires by the month. Like it's getting. Everything turned up, bro. Like, nah, you gotta walk us through. Like, yo, how has it been, bro? Like, what's changed for you over these last few months?
I think the biggest thing is my thing with business is I always talk about the compound effect, right? And we talk about at first really like the work always works. I say the only thing that works is work, but first the work works on you, right? You figuring things out, you taking your L's, you getting micro wins, and then you creating momentum. The hardest part of business is really creating momentum, especially in those early phases, because what you're doing is you're figuring out what works, one, but then what consistently works. The problem with is a lot of business owners, we jump so many different lanes that we don't ever either A, give ourselves enough time to get good at one lane, or what happens is we don't optimize. Like a lot of people, they start making money in one lane, then they say, okay, cool, what's next? What you mean what's next, nigga? This is next. Keep going on this. Keep getting better at this, right? So for us, the biggest thing has been consistency. And really what I realized was I'm a culprit of this. I was doing too much different things. So I just doubled down on what was working, and really what we've been able to do in the last 6-7 months has been really just scale. To a point where our business model has changed. It's consistent. That way, I don't have to worry about what's going on with this play, what's going on with this play. No, we run 1 to 2 plays in our business consistently. So that's been how we've been able to scale and help others really duplicate same process.
That's amazing. That's amazing, and that's one thing I know about you, man. You really just be executing like on a high level. Like I remember last time you came here, he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna start this podcast."
Word, that's a fact. Yeah,
my guys are like almost 5,000 subscribers. You know, you running it, you killing it, you're building from there on, and you know it's good to watch, and it's amazing to see, bro.
And yeah,
you go ahead, bro.
You know what's crazy, bro? All right, so after our last pod, I think I want to say this early in the pod just to make sure people stay to the end.
Yeah.
Right? Last time we ran the pod was probably around November, October, so around that area. One Friday, you hit me up. You shot me a text. You're like, yo, bro, let's run a quick live real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I bet, let's run it.
Yeah.
So Aya started up the live. I came in probably like 2-3 minutes. Yeah, I was cooking up for a little minute. And then, mind you, it probably wasn't even a good amount of people in there. Probably like 20 people at max, 25.
Yeah.
Just about. Not even on there for an hour. And it was this guy. I don't remember his name. What's his name?
CS State Profit.
CS State Profit.
CS State Profits.
He just got an award.
I don't know him,
He just
bro.
got an award, bro.
He got an award.
Oh, my program?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, what's the
bro.
name again?
CS.
He got a
State
broad
Profit.
head. And he got a big beard.
Oh, my God, Carrington. Yeah.
Yes, Carrington.
He's
So-
coming. He's supposed to actually come, but he couldn't make it. But he gonna be in Miami tomorrow. We doing more podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. So it's crazy to see. It's like, yo, he came through in that live and he was commenting. He had joined into the live
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And
He
after
like,
that,
yeah.
fast forward, Ayo sent me a screenshot. I'm like, yo, this is on the stage. I'm like,
I was like,
I don't know who that is. He's like, no, bro, you remember that time we did a live with Darius? I'm like, I remember, but I just don't remember who that was.
Yeah.
Fast forward, he's
Crazy.
making over $100,000.
He's different. He's a different type of executor. He's one of the people that's actually easy to coach. When you get, people that execute at a high level, I don't give a damn how smart you are. I don't care how business savvy you are. If you come with a work ethic, it's easy to coach you. Him and his girl, they run the business together. They did $140,000 in 4 months, right? And now they're in my higher level program. They're on Inner Circle now. So now he's a beast with like credit repair. Like that boy is probably the coldest in the game.
Yeah.
I'm talking about he been removing shit in a week. So now I told him he needs to start teaching it. Like he got a gift. So now he's in our Inner Circle. He's doing webinars. He's gonna be doing challenges and really impacting people. Because what I tell people is once you've mastered something, you're really good at that thing. You have an obligation to now pass down that information to help other people. You know what I'm saying? And he's one person that he don't make no excuses. Right? He came over here from Haiti, and he just been figuring it out. He was telling me when I first met him, he was charging $40 for credit repair.
$40?
So people like $40.
Just $40.
One time, I said, bro, what do you? I said, all right, the first coaching point, 10x your prices. Right, so he started charging $1,000. He was cooking, and then he added funding as a service, and they just been killing it to the point where they I think this year gonna be their first 7 figures year, the next 12 months. So I'm excited to see his growth.
That's crazy to see. Word.
You just reminded me too, because I do remember him joining on the live, and back then we ran the pod with Darius, and he was doing a 5-day challenge.
Yeah.
And he's requesting the channel. I'm like, why this guy keep requesting? Like, yo, he want to talk to Darius, and I'm like, let me bring him up. And he was like, yo, hey, I just joined the 5-day challenge. Yo, I'm excited.
Yeah, he said
So
he
to
got
see
his
him
ticket.
go from that 5-day challenge to
Yeah.
making 104, that's crazy,
so
bro.
Crazy.
He a Boston native too. I
Yeah.
don't know if that
Yeah.
means something, but you know what I'm saying? He's from
definitely
around the way.
means
But
something.
yeah, man, they definitely going crazy.
Okay.
But that goes to show, like, the value that you out here giving people, bro. Like,
Sure.
you're not holding anything back, not gatekeeping, and I'm pretty sure people are definitely getting results from these challenges. So, like, as far as like your main focus today, like are you still doing the business funding, or are you more so focused on the coaching, or are you doing like both?
So we still offering both. I love to be transparent with the people. So we do still run the funding service. In terms of the education or the education side, it's probably about 65% of our revenue though. So we do make more on the education side, but most definitely we run the funding company. So what we 2 types of funding that we focus on. We do obviously 0% APR funding, everyone knows about that.
Mhm.
And then rev-based funding. Rev-based funding is business owners who got bad credit, but they're looking to get access to some funding, partner with certain companies. Everyone knows about Rock Financial, but there's other companies as well where you can go and based off the amount of bank statements, money they got coming in, they can also get access to funding. All right, so we're doing both. Now, the biggest thing that helped us shift from people running funding companies, that's just what we were doing on our last year. That's still the core of what we do in terms of the education side. But a lot of people kept asking, hey, I want to do what you do, right? Or hey, now I want to start teaching. Or I got people who come to me, they're not even in the funding game. They want to start being able to help more people. So what we've done is now we help people scale their online businesses, right? And my avenue, right? I could teach people a bunch of different ways, but I feel like the easiest way for you to love on people is to teach people what you're currently doing. So I've done like low ticket digital products. I've done courses. I've done master classes. I've done ebooks and all that's cool. But right now, the way we sell is virtual events, selling one to many, right? So we do have that program where people typically graduate to that. Like 80% of people who come up to either my webinar mastermind or my inner circle, most of them started from my funding company. And that's just someone online who's like, yo, I see you going crazy. I'm ready to get to that next level with that. But yeah, those have been our focal points.
Yeah. Nice. So like, what's been like the go-to framework when it comes to, like, for example, a client like, what's his name again?
Carrington.
Carrington. So like, what will be a go-to framework for a person that's starting out from zero to their first $140,000 in
4 months.
In 4 months.
Yeah, absolutely. So framework in terms of for him to get to that point.
Yeah.
Okay,
Start from zero.
So first thing I tell everyone is when you're in business, you're a professional problem solver, right? So you need to understand what problem you solve for people, right? And if you don't solve problems, you don't make money. So the more problems or the bigger problems you solve, you make money. So he came to me, right? And he came as someone who was already repaying credit. He just didn't understand his value, right? So once he had paid me $10,000, because he had paid it, his mindset and the way he thought about pricing and the way he thought about things changed. I told him, listen, you just paid me premium. You're not you're not charging anybody $40 for anything anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to understand, 7.5 out of 10 people have bad credit. You help people fix credit. That's a problem. So therefore, you need to charge like it. The problem was when you're not in an environment around other people who can tell you this is what it's worth, or anyone who's charging anything you don't know. We don't know what we don't know, right? Ignorance is bliss. So the first thing he had to do was double his price. That's the first thing. Second thing I teach people to do is make more offers. Most people think money's supposed to come to them, right?
Yeah, you gotta go further.
Sometimes you gotta go get it.
Yeah.
All right. Now I don't believe in chasing, but I believe in attracting. Attracting means putting yourself in a position where you're findable. Marketing. Now he does a lot of content. Right now he knows how to call out his audience. Now he understands what type of content attracts people. One of the biggest ways you guys can attract more people is create something called value content. Right. So I tell everyone, one of my favorite prompts on ChatGPT is give me a list of the top 10 most commonly asked questions that people are asking when it comes to X business. X is whatever business you teach. What it'll do is based on Google search engine. What are people looking up every day on the biggest search engine in the world? Now what happens is when people are online and they're looking for any service, credit repair, funding, podcast, whatever, if you're the person showing up and answering all the questions in your content, they're gonna feel like you're the pastor on Sunday. You ever been to church and you be like, dang, pastor talking to me. It's not that he's talking to you. He already know all this. You know you was at the club last night, you shouldn't have been. You know during the week you was feeling type way because he's done it. He's had experience. So now you show up as that person. So what happens is if you do that and you're creating value content, you're showing up consistently and you understand how to create a good product and you solve problems, you'll never have a money problem. The problem people have is either one of those problems. Either your product's not good, either you're not putting out enough value, you're not getting enough exposure, or you don't have the right information.
So when it comes to like the marketing aspect of growing a business, like what's your top 4 go-to strategies to grow a business? Because you've made millions of dollars. So like what's your top 4 strategies?
Marketing wise,
Yeah.
First is going to be organic, right? And the reason organic is important because organic is the foundation. So even a lot of people want to go right to ads because they see, they hear about ads. But here's the thing. If you run ads, right? What's going on, family? It's your boy Darius. Listen, one of the biggest reasons most businesses fail is due to lack of capital, all right? So what if you could be the person who helps people solve a big problem? In business, you get paid in proximity to the solution that you solve for people, all right? I help entrepreneurs start, growing, scale funding companies. And what I want to do is I want to coach you over 5 days to show you how you can make 6 figures part-time from the comfort of your home. If you're someone who's looking to get to that next level, make sure you click that link below to credittoimpact.com/bootcamp, and I'll see you there. And the first thing people are doing after they see your ad is they want to go back to your foundation. Oh, this ad looks dope. Let me go see if bro's really what he's talking about. They go on your page, you don't got nothing, or you don't have good information, or you don't have good content. Now what? They're like, he's just another person I seen the ad on. Because everybody's running ads now, right? When people come to my page, I'm giving out free game. Right? I'm giving out free game all day. I'm showing testimonials. Y'all just say y'all seen the plaques. I'm giving people getting plaques with real social proof, right? So this is what you want to have at the foundation. All right. I would tell a person starting off, post as much as possible. I know it sounds counterintuitive. A lot of people are speaking quality over quantity. I say first you need quantity to figure out what's the best quality, right? Because you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's the first level of marketing. The second level of marketing, I would say, is leverage other people. Right. So if you don't have a big audience, you just said, well, I hit y'all up and said, let's go live. Why did I hit y'all up? Y'all cool as hell, but I hit y'all up because your audience is fire, right?
Yeah.
You got a big audience. So if I don't have a big audience, okay, cool. I can go pay Cody. I can pay Io. I can pay Brandon. He has a credit funding audience. And I can say, yo, let me come speak to your people. All right. We can make it make sense. Right. A lot of people are making excuses. I don't have an audience. What does other people would do? All right, so one of the plays I teach people is the community play. So what you can do is no matter what industry you're in, right, but specifically for the sake of funding, everybody's coaches and consultants online. It's the fastest growing business in the world right now. So what you can do is you can talk to these coaches and consultants and reach out and say, hey, how are you? Do you have a funding coach in your program right now? Or do you have someone who helps your people get funding? Why? Because whether you do Turo, you do Airbnb, you do land bank, whatever it is, your people need funding to be able to get more inventory or scale up, right? So now what I teach people is to do, go in those communities, give free game, and then at the end, you say, hey, how many of you all would like me to do this for you? And now with that being said, the benefit for the coaches, they get a kickback, right? The benefit for the coaches also, their students are getting better results because now they have more money to scale. Now they look better, right? So that's the second level, leveraging other people, right? The third thing I would tell you is paid ads.
Paid ads.
Paid ads, right? Now, the difference between me and most people is I'm not afraid to spend it. There was even times I really didn't have it like that when I was like, I was spending that shit because I realized that with all else even, most people think we're in the game of who's the best at what you do. Of course you want to be good at what you do, but I understand that we're in the game of being in front of the most people, right? A lot of people are good at what they do, but if they don't know you, they can't flow you, right? So I say, okay, cool. I'm looking at all the big dogs in the game. They're spending money. They're talking about they spending $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month. And I'm over here like, dang, I'm spending $5,000, $10,000. My first big one was probably $1 million worth of game. That one, what we talking about, right?
Yeah.
Talking about 30 racks. And you like, damn, this shit gotta work. You like, this shit gotta work. But the point is, it put that pressure on you, right? And I say that was kind of one of the things that was like my welcome to the big leagues party, I would say, because what happened was the authority in understanding how to monetize. Like, for example, let me not go all over the place. So paid ads, right? That could be Facebook ads, that could be shout out pages, that could be influencers, that could be skits with people who have other people's audience. And then the last way I say is podcasts, right? Podcasts, in my opinion, in 2025 are a must, right? Because people got platforms with specific audiences. Y'all audience, very entrepreneur based. Marvin Francois audience, very entrepreneur based. Charles Newman, very entrepreneur based. So you got to understand, even if y'all were to charge $10,000, right, it will be worth it because you got to think, if you got a product that's $7,500, $10,000, one person you convert, you made your bread back. The rest is all profit. So you got to understand, but most people don't understand how to maximize the play of a podcast, right? So a person might say, okay, cool. I go on the, this is, people try to skip mentorship and they try to go, just do the thing. Oh, I'm gonna go on a podcast, I'm gonna pop my shit, and then it's cool. No, there's a whole place to a podcast. Number one, you need to understand, you need to give away your story, let people know who you are, that you're real. You need to give away some free value. You need to give away gems and let people know that you actually know what you're talking about. Then at the end, you need to understand the call to action. You need to understand how to get people to where you want them to get so they can actually want to rock with you, right? So all of these moving parts are pieces that people leave out, which actually cost them hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So I would say those are my top 4 ways of marketing that are bringing us a lot of revenue and help a lot of people do the same.
That's a lot of game. That's a lot of game. And it reminds me of a quote that I heard, and it was like, visibility beats ability. So it's like,
that's a bar.
Yeah, if you're not out there, you know, you could be the best at what you do, but if nobody knows you and you're probably not gonna be making as much money as you probably should be.
Absolutely.
That was a lot of game you gave right there. That definitely was. So I do want to jump into investing into yourself because, like you said, I'm seeing the transformations. Like, it seems like it's just happening so quick, but online, it's like you look online, Darius is, he's doing skits with people, he's running ads, he's investing in mentorships, like, and I'm seeing this frequently. So I'm pretty sure like you investing a lot of money into yourself.
For sure.
What would be some numbers like in total of that
Yeah,
you
200,
investing,
yeah,
investing in yourself?
$219,000 in the last since I've been in the space. So it's been
Damn.
almost August will make 3 years in education, and 3.5 years in total from February. So yeah, August will make 3 years online.
So 219,000, and now you're in the 7 figures now.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I say, so you think about it, like in the online space, since I started, we've generated over $3 million, right? Since I've started. All right. Well, from 2024 alone, we finished at 1.35. So you got to think $200,000, if it only got you a 6x return, right? Like imagine, and most people are scared to spend any money because we always think about the cost. Everyone knows the cost of everything, but no one talks about the return.
Yep.
Right. So the hardest thing is shifting your mind to think about return, because we're always thinking now. And the reason we're thinking now is because most times, let's be real, we're coming from survival mode. But that's where business funding comes into play, because business fund, I ain't gonna lie, say, oh, I got it. No, this was off of the bank's money, right? This was because I was like, all right, let me learn this skill, go get some money. And then once I got the money, I just started paying people. I was probably paying too much at first. I was just like, oh, you know this, just show me this. But it didn't matter, because at the end of the day, no investment in yourself, I feel, is a bad investment.
Yeah.
And I could honestly say I don't think I've ever been scammed. You know how people are like, oh, the program was a scam? I think when people say that, a lot of times, I'm not gonna say all the time, because I'm sure there are maybe some bad programs, but most times when people are saying things are a scam, it's because they didn't really do the work. They didn't do it, and if they did do it, they didn't do it to a T, or they didn't do it long enough. Like, I'll go into mentorship, bro, and I'm gonna find the good in it. So even if I feel like I've been in a mentorship, I'm like, I knew most of this, but it might be just one piece of information. I'm like, I'm good. Like, I just needed to know one thing, like one thing, right? So it all. What I tell people is this: if you don't invest in yourself, what it is, and here's the reality, everyone's not going to like this. When you don't invest in yourself, it's because you don't believe in yourself, or it's because you don't value yourself. You don't think that you're going to do the work to get done what you just invested. Because if I tell you, go invest in real estate, people be like, oh yeah, why? Because they know real estate gets them a return. But the reality is, there's no bigger return in yourself. There's no bigger return in yourself. There's no bigger return in learning funding. There's no bigger return in learning how to market. I heard Wallow say this one time. He said, it goes God, then marketing. I said, damn, but he's not lying. These kids are streaming. Like, people are blowing up online. People are making millions of dollars because they understand marketing. Why would you not invest in learning how to market? Like, you got to literally hate money not to learn how to invest in market and then put money into marketing. Right? So I tell people, listen, you're going to have excuses or you can have results, but you can never have both. So for me, I just stopped making excuses and said, man, I'm going all in on this thing.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like the funding side of things, like what's your go-to strategy to be able to get somebody like over, let's say, Kai, I heard you said, what was your biggest?
387.
387.
Yeah.
What will be like the strategy to be able to unlock $387,000 in funding?
For sure. So for that particular person, they already came to me with the AIDS Corp. So they already had, they had 4 LLCs, they had 1 AIDS Corp, and they had the other 3 LLCs, 2 of them were 2 years or more already, and then 1 was brand new. So essentially what we did was mostly credit card stacking for them. And so what I tell people, essentially, if you don't know what credit card stacking is, it's essentially, in layman's terms, right, because online people, we make it seem difficult sometimes, is understanding what banks are pulling from what bureaus, right? It allows you to be strategic, because when the average consumer goes for funding, they don't know anything. Like, they don't know who's pulling from where. They don't know what sequence to apply to apply in. So essentially what we do is, like I said, we do a white glove service. We'll do it for you. So if I understand banks that pull from Experian, banks that pull from Equifax, and banks that pull from TransUnion, I can strategically maximize the amount of funding for that person. And if you don't know what an age corporation is, essentially it's an older LLC that allows you to get higher limits, right? Because one of the things the banks look at is length of business structure, right? So if I come to you as a brand new business, you might go get $10, $20, $30,000 limits. Obviously, we could get into banking relationship managers, but I'm talking about just two people, all else even. One has an age court, which is 5, 10 years, could be even 3 years or more. They're going to get more funding with all things else even, right? So for that particular person, that's what it was. So we ran some Experian banks, TransUnion banks, and Equifax banks. And what I tell people is you want to do some homework for your person. So if you're running a funding company or if you're just funding yourself, do some homework, right? You can go to iBankNet. All right. And iBankNet's going to allow you to basically source banks each state. You can even look it up by your zip code. You're going to be able to look it up based on national banks. You're going to be able to look it up based on credit unions. And essentially, it has two columns, assets and deposits. Essentially, in layman's terms, I like to tell people money coming in, money going out, bank activity, right? And we know that when banks are friendly, that's where we want to go. We want to go where the money's flowing. All right. So if you do that, it's going to allow you to see what banks are moving. I tell you want to go see what type products are best for you or for your clients.
Yep.
Because all banks aren't even, right? Some banks got business lines of credit, some banks don't, right? Some banks require, like for example, most people think for business lines of credit, you got to be 2 years or more, because at most institutes that is the case. But there are institutes where with a 1-year-old business, you can actually go get business lines of credit. So I tell people you want to be a student if you really want to be good at this business, all right? And then you want to look at the terms of their business credit cards, like is it 0%, is it low interest? And a lot of time we talk about 0% APR, and I'm an advocate for it, especially if you're a brand new business owner. But if I got someone who already making money, they're not so into the 0% interest if that's not the case, because why? They already have a cash flow producing asset. So really just doing your homework, and then maximizing strategy, and then just funding.
Out of your experience, you done seen like a lot of different, I'm pretty sure you done seen a lot of different situations and a lot of different scenarios. What has been the difference between, what have you seen the difference between a person saying, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and try to save up as much money to go ahead and, invest into this laundromat, versus the person be like, all right, cool, let me go out and, leverage some credit cards or some loans and lines of credit to be able to get this laundromat. What's the difference between the person that's using funding and their own money?
Speed. Success loves speed, right? And what that means is this: you got to understand, most people think they have a money making problem. You don't. The problem is you don't make money fast enough to get to enjoy it, right? So the average person, because the last generation, right, or maybe our moms or grandparents, they weren't even using credit cards. They were like, oh no, stay away. So what happens is when you keep that same mentality, you bring it into 2025, you're going to get left behind, right? Because by the time I've tried things 10 times, failed, it didn't work, made mistakes, you're still trying to save money from the job. The job pays you $60,000 a year. After taxes, you might be left with 40. You got bills, you got kids, you got things going on. You don't have enough leverage. You can't go do what you want to do, right? Which is why most people live the same 6 months over and over in their lives. Man, only if I had 50,000, only if I had 10,000 to start up. That's what everybody say around the way, right? But it's like, no, you could go get it, but you don't want to do the work. You don't want to pay the $1,000 to get your credit right, or even $5,000 to go learn how to do it. So you go get $100,000. Again, it goes back to everyone knows the cost of everything, but no one thinks about the value. So the difference is apples to oranges. The difference is person A who thinks about saving. The truth is they might never get successful. And it's no one's fault but theirs, because they're not willing to do what's required. Most people think, oh, I'm doing my best. Sometimes your best not good enough, right? But in life, we always got the ability to become better. Mentorship, guidance, whatever it may be. The person who's leveraging credit, they're going to win unless they quit. But most likely, if they've spent money on themselves, because it brings out a different type of dog in you. When you spend that money, you like, nah, this shit got to work. Like, I just dropped bread on this, right? So typically, that's the reason I love, and I tell people, go pay for the stuff you want. All that being cheap stuff, it don't work. I don't care who it is. You could be cheap. You're going to get cheap results. When I spend $20,000 on a program, I'm in there like this. I'm in there locked in. I'm in there early. I got questions. You're doing the work. If it don't work, we want to know why it don't work. Like, you're going to pay. People who pay attention. People who pay more attention. Best thing you can do for your clients is charge premium price. I don't care what you sell. My programs are all way higher than when I started, because I realized I used to charge like $1,000 when I first started. $1,000, I'm giving out all the plays, giving out every damn bank in the world. Every play, people aren't doing the work. And what I realized is why, because they didn't invest enough for them to be like, nah, I got to get this shit back. Right now, our programs, the lowest program, $7,500. Everybody, you see the amount of awards we giving out online. People are paying, so they're like, nah, this shit got to work. And they believe. Like you ever just bought we buy Louis, we go buy designer, and we be feeling like we walk out there. You know what I'm saying? About to pull out the night. Why? Because you feel valuable. You feel more premium because of a shoe that don't give you no return. But you feel like I'm about to get some ass tonight at knees. That's how you feel, right? So when you spend money on yourself, like you drop money, you like, nah, I know this work. It gotta work. You gonna find something good. Even if the program ain't good, you gonna find something good because you spent the bread on it.
Man. So, because I definitely seen like, you know, some of the events you know, that you've thrown, you do a lot of collaborations. Like I'm seeing it, you know, a lot, and it's good to see. It's good to watch, because to see you collaborate and y'all all eating together and y'all also are changing lives.
Yeah.
So how big has collaboration been for you? Like, you know, especially targeting the right audience of people, you know, connecting with the right people. Like how big has that been for you?
That's a great question. Collaboration is the new currency, I'll say. And at first, I wasn't a guy who liked collaboration a lot, only because I'm being real. I I find in my life, like I've always been a person who worked very hard, and I'm a person who I love accountability. So a lot of times, right, when it comes to partnerships, you're counting on a person to hold their weight, right? So for example, if we do something together, and let's say I sell, you know, 100 units and you sell 10, but our deal's 50-50. Now I'm upset. Now I'm like, right, and I know my work ethic. So partnerships were something that I had to be sold on, but I believe in partnering with the right people is the key, right? So believe it or not, bro, most people I partnered on were once mentors of mine, right? And what happens is, you know, you want to people that be able to coach you or whatever, they see you going crazy. They now like, okay, let's make it make sense, because that's a good feeling. Like now I partner with some of my mentees on certain things, right? So that's how it kind of started. I was getting in programs, you know, growing or whatever, and then it just formed the partnerships. They've been something that they allow you to make more money when they're done right. Right. If you got two people that go hard, they say if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go further, go together. That thing's true.
Yeah.
All right, we did $1 million month in January this year with the partnership, right? And I ain't gonna lie, I don't know if that's something we would have done on our own, for being transparent. So I believe partnerships definitely key. It's just monopolizing a market, right? So I was doing funding. The person I was partnering with do credit repair and digital products and stuff like that. So the partnership made sense there. And it's been cool. I also think though, when you're growing a brand, it should be ebbs and flows. So there should be partnerships, but then you should also make sure you're doing your own thing, because you do have to be consistently building your credibility and continuing to dominate, right? Because what happens is people can sometimes get lazy, right? So you don't want to get dependent on a partner. So I believe partnerships should like come and go, right? Stuff like that. So they've been a big part of our business and helping expansion.
Yeah, I had to ask that too, because it was one day, I think I was posting on TikTok. You know, we got to post the content, and I ran into a live. I don't know if y'all did it on TikTok or y'all did it on Instagram, but it was you, it was Pushman.
Yeah.
And I think Dion jumped on.
Yeah.
And that joint went viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like it's at like 50,000 likes, and I'm like,
wait, the whole live?
Yeah,
Damn,
whole live.
that's
It's like
crazy.
a 40-minute live, and I'm like,
That's a lot of likes, bro.
and somebody had commented like, yo, who watched this all the way through the end? And that thing had like maybe like 1,000 likes. So like people who sat here and watched this 40-minute live that was reposted to TikTok, and comments is just like flooded. So I'm like, the way I was watching, like, you know, some of it, but the way y'all just transforming people's mindset,
that's it.
It's just different. And y'all speaking from a place of passion.
Yeah, and that's the cheat code, bro. So you said something so important. I hope the audience listen. It's like one of the biggest things I learned as a coach. I used to think it's all about the plays and the game. And I swear, like, it hit me like last year. I was listening to another coach, and I was watching their style. And this is a good friend of mine, but I used to be like, bro don't be giving out a whole lot of plays, but he spent a lot of time on mindset. But the people were loving it, and it was moving them. But then what I realized was I was coaching as if I was coaching myself. But what I realized is most people aren't me, right? So when you're helping people out, you have to get them to become a person. And if you don't get them to become a certain type of person, they'll never move. It don't matter what plays. For example, I got people in my program, they go and make $200,000 a month. Some people, they're not moving, right? Why? It's because they haven't become the person to actually do the work, right? So when you talk about people going viral off the mindset, it's because people are starting to realize I'm not making money not because of what I do or don't do. It's because of who I haven't become yet. For example, if a person's not disciplined, they're never going to make money. I don't care what. I can show them how to sell from stage. I can give them all that. If a person's not consistent, they're never going to make money. If a person can't overcome a little bit of adversity, they're never going to get rich. It don't matter if Alex Hormozy do a one-on-one with him for 20 hours. That nigga's not getting a result because it's mindset first, skill set, tool set. A lot of people think mindset is like fluff. And I used to think that too a little bit because I already came in with a dog mindset. But what I realized is no, it's not mindset and there's levels to it. Because when I get in the room now around people who talking about doing 10, 20 mil, I'm shutting the fuck up. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Then they talking about, okay, he got a different type of dog in him. He talking about he just spent $500,000 this month to go get 2-3 million. Okay, I'm thinking I'm playing little. I'm the little man in the room, right? So every level, mindset is gonna be first, and everything else is gonna be second.
I agree, because even back when I was going out investing in going to different conferences, it took a certain mindset to get to that point.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't fully that person to be like, yo, I'm gonna invest in myself. But I made that
First
brief
attempt.
jump, that
Yeah,
first
yeah.
jump. So to seeing what y'all doing is like most of the people they made that attempt to even probably sign up for the challenge, but or even click on the live, so it shows that they're a little bit interested. So they might need that extra push, like, yo, you could do this shit.
And imagine if we didn't show up consistently.
Yeah,
right?
that too.
Because people need a push.
Yep.
Like in our business, I know we use a software called Hyros, right? Hyros allows us to see where every buyer came from. And I know the average person doesn't buy from me until they've been to at least 5 webinars. So if I was to be like, man, I'm getting tired of these, nobody pulling up, or feels like the conversion rate's low, then I'm not helping people change their life because they're going to say, well, he didn't show up. Oh, I'm not going to buy from him. But I know there's someone like what you just said. I'm showing up. I'm getting in the room. I'm there consistently. They're just waiting for that one opportunity. Maybe their taxes hit. Maybe they just came across some bread. Maybe they finally said, nah, today's the day I'm going to be tired of bullshitting, right?
Yeah.
So you got to, the easiest thing you can do, the easiest way you can grow, it's not easy because if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's just be consistent. So the first thing I tell people in my webinar program, or my inner circle, is first thing, doing a webinar every single week for a year straight. If you can't do that, you don't want to make millions of dollars, right? Because everyone starts with them, but people be like, oh, this shit, the show up rate, my thing is low, I don't know how to get it. No, you got to keep going. You have to keep going because if you quit on this, you're gonna quit in everything. If you're gonna quit on this, you're gonna quit when shit get hard. You're gonna quit when you find out the operations side, you got 100 people that sign up for your program, and now you gotta deal with operations, and you gotta start hiring, right? You gotta be a leader. So at this level, my job becomes, how do I be a better leader? Like my team, I got 11 people on my staff. No one on my staff goes harder than me still. No one. And that's why everyone on my staff goes hard for me, because I exemplify how the company has to run. If I bullshit, they're gonna bullshit. And I realize that. I still put out my own content. I still shoot every single week. We still showing up. We still loving on the people, right? Because you gotta understand, as you're growing, you're scaling, and you're hiring, everything starts with you. You can't just say, oh, I'm a hire, they're gonna do the work and I'm gonna chill. It don't work like that. They're gonna decline. They're not gonna show up some days. They're gonna half-ass. Why? Because you're the primary example of what your company is.
Now that's game. And I gotta mention too, you're probably like the first person I seen actually go out to meet up with their VAs. Like, I never see anybody going out to do that, bro. So to see you took that long flight and you actually went up to meet up with people who are helping you make money, that's different. What was your thoughts behind that?
Yeah.
Leadership, right? Because like you said, everyone has VAs, and everyone, well, I don't know if everyone has, but we have an operation manager. My operation manager, she's a beast, right? She's very, very important to the company. But my point is, like, separation. Like, this is the year of separate. How can I separate from everybody else, right? Building a stronger bond with the people who work for me is going to be a separating factor. So we went out there, Philippines, like a 22-hour flight, but it was definitely worth it. Yeah, Bob was immaculate. Spending that time with people that every day go hard for you is different. And they're getting to hear their stories. Like some of my virtual assistants, I'm finding out they're the breadwinner in their family. So the money they're making, they're holding down their mom's crib, their people's crib, their little siblings' crib. So really just getting to see that is super dope, but it builds a different type of respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, it builds a different type of love, a different type of energy. And I feel like it definitely made us stronger since that trip. So that's something we're gonna do every year, just an annual team retreat.
So by doing that trip alone, you know, because people want to be a part of things that are actually moving forward and actually winning. People like to win.
Absolutely.
They don't want to be a part of a losing crowd. Like how has the performance of your team like started skyrocketing after that trip?
Way up. I mean, my team would do anything for me, like anything, right? And you said something so profound. It's like when you're figuring things out is the hardest part because it's like moving parts. People are scrambling. The energy not always there. Everyone not always maybe want to go above and beyond because they're like, I'm off the clock and we ain't getting no more money, right?
Yeah.
But that's why I tell you, you got to stay in the game and keep working because eventually the work goes from working on you to now it's working for you. Now your pieces start hitting, as people say around the way, right?
Yeah.
Your business start growing. Things are going smooth. You're making more money. You're giving people bonuses. Like my VAs, most holidays, they all get bonuses, right? Every year we do a New Year meeting, right? Part of that is who deserves bonuses, you know, who's getting raises, things like that. You want to make sure you run your company like a company. Too many people are running their online business like a hustle, which is why you might make money in seasons, ebbs and flows, but it's not consistent. What I'm looking to build is something that's long term, right? Something that could go even when I might say, hey, I just want to take a little backseat.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a huge spike in growth since our team meeting for sure.
So you done did the early year flow, you know, you go meet the team out in the Philippines. Like, what's some of the things y'all working on moving forward within
sure.
the next few months?
So the biggest thing we're adding is acquisition partnerships, and this is new for us. But so last year we started doing multi-day events, and that's kind of changed to our business model, right? So every 6 to 8 weeks we do one. So what we've done is we really mastered the whole back end, the fulfillment, the whole process, right? So now what we do is people who join my inner circle, what happens is we partner with them on challenges, so we're able to help them. They don't have to do it because the reality is this: a challenge is not something someone can just figure out. It's just not. You're not gonna just guess it up. You're just not. So we realize that people want to run these multi-day events, but they don't know how. Right, everything from fulfillment to automations to sales psychology to understand each part of the day. So now what my team is doing is we partner with all of these people. Essentially, we help you run your whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
Everything from traffic, showing up, sales scripts, fulfillments, running your chat, all that. Because it's like if you can help a person who's already good become better, then it's just gonna up the results, gonna up the program. And like I said, this year our goal is to make a lot of millionaires, and I know that the quickest way for a person to start making more money faster is through virtual events, right? And specifically through multi-day virtual events. So yeah, that's what we've been working on. And over the next couple of months, you're gonna see a lot of people getting 100K day plaques and $1 million a year plaques by the end of this year for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing because I definitely see like a lot more of the big creators online. They got a big following, but they never did multi-day events.
Yeah.
So I definitely see some of them tapping in with y'all. I see
turn the followers to y'all, right? Yeah.
I see it. So that's really dope to know. And before we do wrap up, you're making the millions of dollars. What are some things that you splurge on from time to time with your money? Like, just gotta ask that, bro.
Nah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I'm not a huge splurger. I do like convenience, bro. So I pay for convenience. So the biggest thing I splurged on was also my car. I got a penthouse. But other than that, bro.
Wait, it's not just a car anymore when you get a land.
Oh yeah, my fault.
You say you be like, I got the land. Not pull up to the car.
Nah,
pull up to the land.
The lamb, yeah. My lamb, that's probably my biggest splurge purchase. Outside of that though, bro, I pay for like convenience. So like I like to travel too. Yeah. Right. But usually when we're traveling, it's a hybrid. Vacation but business. Right. Yeah. So mix of both. But like just hired a chef, right? I'm trying to eat cleaner, get back in shape. Hired a personal trainer. Got the cleaning lady. Making sure like I pay so life is easier, so I can focus on the business, right? But not be stressed out because we got real life and we got business. Yeah. I think when people get into business, they forget about real life, and I've been through phases of that. So a lot of our money goes towards convenience and just being better. I don't really splurge too much.
Okay, that's good. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
gotta make shit comfortable, man.
Got to.
But yeah, this was a really good one.
Not for sure.
This was a good one.
And for anybody who looking to get more information, I'm doing a 5-day live mentorship. Not a course, not no replays. I'm gonna coach you live, and I'm gonna show you a lot of things we talked about today. I'm gonna show you how to get access to funding for yourselves. I'm gonna show you how to run a 6-figure funding company part time. So if you work a 9 to 5, I just had someone quit their job 2 months ago. He did $250,000 in 4 months, right? So this is for a person who works 9 to 5, a person who has a CRO, a person who currently has a funding company, a person who has a tax company. If you're looking to make more money from recovery of homeless for you, I'm going to show you how to break that thing down, and I'm going to show you how to turn your knowledge into cash flow while leveraging credit as well.
Nah, that was
Nice.
game. And before we do wrap, we do got some Merchant and Success merch.
Oh,
You know,
right.
Yes,
Word. Y'all see
we out here.
Yeah.
It's long overdue.
yes, sir.
Long overdue, but you know, we gotta give Darius. We gotta give Darius his
What is
best.
your heart?
Word.
This is your heart. Hey, I'm definitely rocking this on the gram. I got
Got
you.
you.
Yeah,
man.
so
Fire.
definitely for our repeat guests like Darius, you know, you pulled up a bunch of times, gave a lot of source to the community, to the audience. So definitely check this out.
I
It's like
appreciate
rock
that,
in the
man.
gym, you know,
Word.
Appreciate
cool whip,
it.
but we definitely got it coming. We got more coming on the way. So definitely stay tuned, y'all. And we're gonna drop the links below.
Yep.
We're gonna drop all the links below. Y'all need
Absolutely.
to tap in with Darius and get the game, y'all.
Let's get it. Hey, appreciate y'all boys having me on.
Thanks,
man.
bro.
Always a pleasure, man. Make sure y'all check out Motion and Success. They're going crazy. And I'll see y'all June 9th.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.